Welcome to Not Your Basic Brunettes, where we, Devin and Katie, dive into all things girly and beyond. From sharing TMI moments to navigating life's chaos with humor and vulnerability, we're here to create a safe space for moms, single ladies, entrepreneurs, and corporate girlies alike. Grab a drink, get comfy, and join us as we laugh, cry, and connect through all of life's moments. Now here are your hosts, Devin and Katie.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So welcome back to Not Your Basic Brunettes. We are on part 2 of motherhood.
Yeah.
So we're going to go a little bit into parenting and marriage and relationships. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe,
Subscribe.
follow, comment, share with your friends, family. We'd really appreciate it. And we'd love your feedback on any episodes that you guys might want to listen to.
Yeah.
So getting into the questions, we are millennials.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with gentle parenting and discipline compared to like what our parents did?
I honestly don't use gentle parenting, and I think I was kind of late to the game of what the heck is gentle parenting? I thought I was just parenting. I didn't know there was different steps of oh great, another subsect I need to know.
Way to learn.
And I guess I quote, quote unquote don't do gentle parenting, but I have moments where I am gentle. I'm not some hard ass that's just you do what I say. I feel like it's just being an empathic parent and emotionally understand your emotions and regulations is just meeting them where they are. I guess you can consider that gentle parenting, or just not shaming them for every wrong decision. Because I feel like a lot of gentle parenting is overdone to the point where it's you're allowing your kid to get away with stuff that should be a form of discipline. But the real gentle parenting is hey, I'm not going to scream at you. It's hey, I'm acknowledging what you're doing and acknowledging what you're feeling, but that still isn't right. That's still not appropriate. There's still that authoritative boundary that you need to have. It's not just I know you're feeling sad, don't hit. And they're just they don't respect you because you're not in your power in the nicest way or whatever. You still are the adult in the situation. You still need to set the boundary and examples for your kids. What about you?
We tried the gentle parenting, gentle discipline, things like that. We did try. This was before we knew that Kai was on the spectrum. And we were trying. We even read this book, I'll tag it as well. It was called Gentle Discipline. What to do in certain situations and how to change it because of how your parents raised you, because there's obviously generational trauma we're all healing from and trying not to do with our kids to, learn better and do better. But then realizing that the steps we were doing weren't helping him at all. Even the speech therapist and stuff like that, when we were doing our evaluation, she literally was call his name. And I was Cairo, literally would not respond to me whatsoever, being a gentle parent until I started doing more of an authoritative tone. And I'm Cairo. And then he was
oh, yeah.
And she's okay. So he does not respond when it comes to gently talking to him. He responds in an authoritative tone. And that's how he's always responded. So unfortunately, not trying to sound mean or I'm over you and I'm your power.
Yeah.
It's more just trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we've had to also learn different ways to discipline with him because with him being on the spectrum, tantrums, yelling and screaming just aggravate and make him louder and screaming and hitting and things like that. So having to keep your cool in these situations is very, very hard because all you want to do is scream. That's what we were taught, is yelling and screaming and throwing things or whatever. So now it's okay, having to break that cycle, learn something new, but it definitely wouldn't say it's completely gentle parenting that some people do that I have seen. That's unfortunate for some people.
Yeah.
Because,
well, it's they say gentle parenting is for gentle kids.
Right. And my kid's not gentle.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. No, Campbell, I would say he's more on the gentle side because he's softer. But I've noticed with Rhea.
Yeah.
like startle her out of whatever she's doing, and I'll
Yeah.
like make, even if it's not like I'm like some of my, we used to make fun of my mom for like making noises and like not calling us by name, like
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like I
yeah.
find myself doing that because they immediately just go
Ooh, sweet.
so I'm just like
Yeah.
like just make the noises, or just like a loud noise gets them more attention, like gets their attention better than saying their name, because it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of like a dog. The more you repeat their name, they're just like, yeah,
Right. They're like,
that's
la,
my
la, la.
name,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if it's just like you use one word quick and they're like, oh, or
Right.
for me, a noise, I feel like that just comes out first anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, ah.
Yeah. It's true though. It's true. Because like after a while, it's almost like selective hearing. It's like, oh no,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Not
No.
listening. And you're like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah. Slam something and it's like, no, that doesn't get their
That
attention
doesn't get their
either.
attention. That just traumatizes them. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? What
Yeah.
do I do? And it's frustrating because unfortunately it's such a learning curve just going on through the motions now, because we're learning again that
Yeah.
like this didn't work back then. We shouldn't do that. This is what
Yeah.
a lot of people are calling childhood trauma, and we're trying to
Yeah.
fix it.
Well, I think it, like going into like the next question too of like how to handle tantrums and big emotions. I think the difference too with us is like our parents, majority of them didn't know how to self-regulate.
Right.
So we didn't learn
Correct.
how to self-regulate. So now we're fucking learning this as we're trying to teach our kids,
And
which
it's
is
so
so
hard.
hard because
So hard.
when everybody's activated at once, unless you have like a partner where you like, have the cues where you can bounce between like, hey, I'm activated, you need to step in and
Yeah.
like deactivate, whatever.
Right.
It's really hard to like big emotions, big stuff, because you're feeling that too, but you have to lead the example. You have to be the parent in the room.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, okay, you have to be soft on certain things of like, hey, they're two.
Right.
They don't know how to express in a certain way. And this is the
Exactly.
way they get it out. And it's almost just like, I wish I could scream and roll around on the floor too.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
socially acceptable.
That's not socially
So
acceptable.
we just suppress it, or like scream into a pillow or something like
Yeah.
that. And I know with like Kai, you say like his tantrums can be very hard. Like we went through a period with Campbell when he was like almost 2 or a little over 2, where he would just shut down and scream for like 30 minutes.
Oh
And
yeah.
you couldn't talk to him. You couldn't say anything. You couldn't touch him. You couldn't even look in his general
Yeah.
direction.
Oh yeah.
And like all you wanted to do was just shake him out of it or like whatever. But it's just like kind of had to let it
You
ride
have
its
to let it ride.
course.
Yeah.
And then once they calm down, they eventually kind of come to you, and you have to be that space to be like,
Right.
get down on their level and just be like, all they need after that, adults too, just like someone to fucking hold you
Yeah.
and be like, dude, that was
It was
crazy.
intense.
Yeah.
It was
Like
intense. It was big feelings.
yeah.
Like, how do you feel now?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We had that same situation with Kai doing that, the screaming
Mhm.
and not knowing what to do, because same thing, you would just keep going and you couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And it was like, even if you tried music, TV, something, just anything, trying to snap him out of it, he would
Yeah.
just scream, and all you could do is just write it out.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, me also dealing with that, like as an adult, like when we were younger, I don't know if you dealt with this too, with having kind of like boomer parents, you weren't allowed to have emotions.
No.
It was like,
No.
you're not allowed to have big feelings or emotions. You shut down, you stop.
Yeah.
Like, this is not appropriate how
Yeah.
you're acting right
This is
now.
irritating. Yeah.
But it's like, but it is appropriate of
Yeah.
how you're acting, because one, you're this age.
Yeah.
Two, you don't know how to express how you're feeling. And
Yeah.
three, this is the only way you know how to get it out
Yeah.
until somebody helps you in posting it in the way that you should,
Yeah.
So
And a
that,
lot of it too is like that's how kids received attention or receive attention
right,
from a parents. If I'm angry at outbursting aloud, what is mom and dad going to do? They're going to direct their attention
direct towards
towards me,
me.
whether it's
Yeah,
positive, which is usually not, or it's
right.
I've made them mad. Like I catch my son doing that all the time. I can see it in his face because he kind of gives me that side eye. And I'm like, you want to activate me right now because you're
Right,
seeking attention,
right.
but don't know how to ask it. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's the same way of just like, it's all kids want is fucking
Attention. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we always say too, is like Kai just wants to play, like all the
Yeah.
time. Like that's all he wants to do, is he wants your attention and to play, 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 play,
Yeah.
play. And then when you don't, it becomes destructive. So
Yeah.
it's like there has to be a fine line, a fine medium into where you can be destructive and when the attention is
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah. And I think big too is like for us, we were in charge of our parents' emotions and regulating the household and that
Absolutely.
sort of stuff as kids. everything was do it because your mom said so, do it for
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
because we're your parents, serving to them. And now that we're millennials, the society has been like, you need to do everything for your kids. You need to be on the floor with them.
Yes.
You need to be entertaining them 24/7. So it's like we've never caught a break
Yeah.
of being
As
responsible for
of
somebody
somebody
else's
else.
emotions.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's okay to like not entertain your kid 24/7. Like I'm in the boat where like you're bored, go find something to do. Like
Yes.
I have my own
Yes.
stuff to do. I can't be your source of entertainment. Luckily, it's like 90s, 2000s kids, like we were good about that. Like
Yes.
we
Oh yeah.
go find some
There was
friends,
3
do
of us. My
something.
mom was
Yeah.
constantly like that. It was like, "Go read a book, go
Yeah.
outside,
If you're bored,
go."
you're boring.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever remember my mom sitting down and playing dolls with me. She's like, "You have siblings for this."
Yeah, that's what my mom too. Like we had each other, and that was how it went. And she was like, "You guys go play outside, go rollerblade, go bike. I don't
Yeah.
care." And
Yeah.
half the time we were out of the house so that we
Yeah.
weren't bothering anybody.
I know. Nowadays it's like, don't let them outside of your sight because they're gonna get kidnapped. You're like, I
Kidnapped.
can't fucking win.
I know. You
Like,
can't win.
go
Yeah.
across the street to your friend's house, and then you're worried that because you're not there, you can't control what
What happens
happens.
in
And
that
it's like,
house?
well,
Yeah.
okay. When I was at my friend's house, like their parents were in charge, and we understood that. I
Yeah.
wasn't like, my mom's not
I'm
here, so
here.
you
Yeah,
can't tell me what to do.
exactly.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
shit, you're in charge. I'm at your house.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you
Well,
bring
then
that
there's
back.
another thing with bringing that up is like going to other friends' houses, like the sleepover thing.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that now that some parents are not like letting their kids do sleepovers?
Yeah, that's tricky because I've heard so many like horror stories. And I
Hmm.
think for me, it'll come down to how well I know the parents.
Hmm.
Like, Campbell wanted to sleep over at Kai's. I was like, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, um, but if I don't know the parents on a personal level, like
Yeah.
intimately, I think, um, yeah, as of right now, I mean, my kids are so young that sleepovers are not a thing for a while,
Yeah.
but it's just like, I don't know. I think, yeah, just knowing the family really well
Yeah.
is my kind of like gut answer.
Yeah.
But you?
It's hard for me. I used to do sleepovers all the
Yeah.
time with friends and whatnot. But I had a friend in elementary and middle school
Hmm.
who eventually her dad ended up being charged with
Yeah.
molesting some of our
Ugh.
friends, including me. Not as inappropriately like as some of them,
Yeah.
but
Jeez.
um I didn't know really what
Yeah.
was going on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't alone with him very often for these things to happen.
Uh huh.
And again, being 10 years old, like I didn't understand what was
Yeah.
going on or what
Still.
was happening. So and then like my friend kind of like caught on when it was uncomfortable
Hmm.
at certain things and finally like told her mom, and then there was just like this huge case about it,
Yeah.
and he was convicted
Oh
after
my
like
God.
however many friends were.
Did it happen to her? Like, was he doing it to his daughter
I
too?
don't think he was doing it to
It's fucked
her.
up.
It was just
Either
like
way.
our friends. And then one of my friends, I believe, got the brunt of it, and she was
No.
kind of mentally messed up for
Wow.
quite some time after all of
Yeah.
that.
That's like the
So,
horror stories I'm talking about.
yeah,
I'm like, ugh.
exactly. So it's hard for me to want to say yes. Like obviously with you, like I know
Yeah.
you personally and I know like my kid is safe and everything is fine. But like with other people, it's like I don't know your parent and
Right.
I should know your parent
If
in
I'm not
order for you
comfortable
to
sleeping over, my
yeah.
kids sure as hell aren't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and back then parents didn't really like know each other either
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
true.
Like it was like, "Oh, I'll call your mom to verify you're spending the night there." But
Yeah.
like we're
Call
not
your mom
we're
before
not
bed.
friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not friends. So I don't know you personally. I don't know what goes on in your household. I don't know, if you have cameras in people's
Oh,
rooms. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's
yeah.
like
Cameras are so popular now, and back
they
then it
are.
wasn't.
They
Yeah.
are. And there's actually a lot of stories where that happens where like girls have sleepovers and then
Mm-mm.
there's like cameras like been placed in the room or something. So it's like it's very hard for me to be like, yeah, let's have a sleepover
Yeah.
when I'm like, I don't know who you are nor your parents, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I was having that conversation with my good friend the other day, actually, because she had brought it up about something because her daughter's around 11, kind of that age too. And she was like, I don't know how I feel about sleepovers either because same situation happened
Mhm.
with older brother that
Yeah.
was doing stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
we don't need one more thing to be like
Yeah.
terrified of like letting our kids have a childhood. It's like
It's
I feel like it's
true.
being robbed from them because of all this scary shit.
Yeah.
And I don't get why people have cameras inside their house.
Exactly.
What are you looking back? Like
Why are you looking
I don't
back
even have
and
an
what
Alexa in
happened?
my house. Like Like, I
Like, I
don't.
get the outside,
Yeah, the outside
first
was.
intruder,
Yeah,
but, like, inside
yeah. I don't.
seems weird.
It's a Big Brother-ish. I'm like, why do you
Yeah.
security cameras? Like, I don't want
I'd
to.
feel
I
like
don't
my
want to be
husband or
watched.
something would be watching me. I'd be like, "Why do you have cameras?" Like,
Yeah,
this
it's like
weird.
the trust issue, and then people can hack
Yeah.
into that shit because, like, I didn't get one of these baby monitors that like connect to the Wi-Fi.
I did, and then when I started figuring out that yeah, like,
Yeah,
people could,
people
like,
can
hack
tap
it, I
into it.
was like,
Nope.
rinked it off the wall, got one that was
No.
just a hardwire like, a
Yeah,
hardwire monitor in my house that doesn't connect to
yeah,
Wi-Fi.
that's exactly because I like heard those stories too. I'm like, just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it was kinda good at first because, like, when I was on, like, date night, like, I would
yeah,
spy on the baby
yeah.
monitor. I would tap into the
Well, I know like people
I
that
didn't
like.
it's not that I didn't trust my babysitter. I was just more like, mom concern
Mhm.
and, like, it's your first child, and I'm, like,
Yeah,
worried because putting him down was always kind of, like, hard to, like, go to sleep.
yeah.
So sometimes I would just, like, tap into the monitor and, like, check when we're on our date night.
Well, I know people that like have like go through the neighborhood with that and like, hey, I'm gonna go over to your house like for a drink. My kids are
Yeah.
asleep. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool because you'd be like, okay, well, I could check in on them or
Right.
whatnot. Um, let's see. We talked about okay, we'll get into a good one. Like, how do you handle unsolicited parenting advice?
Oh my gosh, it's the worst. The worst. I was definitely, like, wouldn't say anything when I was, like, my first kid,
Hmm.
I would just be like, like,
Yeah,
"Okay, great," and then now it's like, "No, we've already done that and tried that, I'm
yeah, we
not
try
doing
that.
it," like,
Yeah,
because it's unfortunate because everybody wants to solicit their advice without you asking, like, you're
I
like,
know.
"I'm not asking for your advice unless I say, 'Hey, can I have your
Yeah, I
advice?'"
know. I'm bad about that sometimes.
No,
Like, sorry.
it's not, like, for this situation, but you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it's usually always, like, family members or
Yeah, moms,
mother-in-laws or
yeah.
something or father-in-laws. It's
I
just
did it this
something.
way and you guys turned
Yeah,
out
and
fine.
you're like
Did we?
but then you're like, "They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do that's illegal. Stop it."
Yeah. I'm in therapy for the things that
Like,
I turned out
bourbon
fine
on their
for.
teeth, they don't do that anymore. That don't no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Or so, yeah, that's always fun to deal with because then they're like, "Well, you raise your fine." I'm like, "I know we're fine, but they
Yeah, fine
don't
as in we're
recommend it
alive,
anymore."
yes, but we learned coping
I
mechanisms
know.
along the way.
Or my favorite was always like, "The baby doesn't have a blanket." I'm like, "He's burning up. He doesn't need a
I
blanket right
know.
now." Like, he's sweating. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a sweater, unfortunately. My
Yeah.
kids are kind of sweaters, so I'm like, "They're sweat like, they don't need a blanket. They're sweating.
I
They're
know.
fine." Or socks.
Socks.
Oh god.
Goddamn socks.
I'm like, "They rip them off in the car. I
Yeah.
can't
The
do
little baby
anything."
socks don't sit on their little baby feet.
I
Just put them
know.
in a fucking footy pajamas.
They'll be fine. But yeah, that was always the thought. And I'm like, they literally pull them off in the
Yeah.
car. I don't
Whoosh.
know what to
They
tell
go
you.
flying.
And
Yeah,
then
good
they
luck.
go missing in the car. You're like, where did that
And
other
you find it months
sock?
later. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's crusty
found
and
this tiny
something
little baby sock.
trash. There's a horde of somewhere where
Yeah,
it's
some
just baby
dang
socks
baby socks.
everywhere.
Crispy baby socks. Like,
Mm.
and then by the time you find it, they outgrown that
I know. I
sock.
feel like
So
I,
you're
I
like,
cleaned in my car. I was like, I feel like I found a sock somewhere for sure.
I'm not surprised. I'm not
Either that or I
surprised.
sucked it up in the vacuum.
Probably. That would be me. I always hear like, like at the car wash. I'm like, oh, got something. Like,
not my vacuum, not my problem.
like that poor
Don't know
car
what that is.
wash.
Cran, fry.
Could
You
be
don't need it
something.
anymore. You
Yeah.
haven't seen it for months.
Oh, chewy toy. Oh, that's gone. Yeah.
Didn't need it
Didn't
anyways.
need it. It's
Minimalist.
fine. Like getting rid of all the stuff I don't need. Okay, going into marriage and relationships.
Okay.
How did parenthood impact your marriage and relationship?
Uh, Big time, I would say. I mean, I was 8 weeks pregnant on my wedding day, and
Woo!
I wasn't planning on that.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So that was fun fitting into my wedding dress and not drinking at my wedding and feeling incredibly nauseous and tired and pretending that
Aw.
that didn't happen.
Mhm.
But I mean, we have Campbell out of that. Um, so we didn't really get time to like be together newlywed. We also like got engaged very quickly from relationship. Like we had a 6 month engagement,
Mhm.
only dating for like a year and a half. So we were on this fast track of
Mhm.
that. So we were immersed in it, and then we had him at the height of COVID. So it's like we're
Right.
together all the time. So we didn't really know what like a married couple life was like beyond having
Mm-hmm.
children.
Yeah.
Um, and we had our through my pregnancies, I feel like that was the worst part because you're going through so many changes. Your
Yeah.
partner, especially in the first time, does not understand
Oh yeah.
what you're dealing
Going
with
with
and like
for
think that
sure.
you're overreacting and you're pregnant hormones. It's like my body is physically changing at a
Yeah.
rapid pace and growing a human. Like, can you make me fucking dinner? Like, what I'm saying? Like, have some sort of
Give
capacity.
me my Snickers bar, you
Yeah.
bitch.
Or just like the baby needs you. The baby needs you. Your mom. Your mom. It's like that. I think that's what affected my relationship a lot too. Is because I'm a mom. I'm mom. I'm mom.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm no longer
Yes.
your partner. I'm no longer your wife. I'm mom. I'm
Yeah.
doing everything. And that was kind of like a scapegoat to be like, they need you because you're mom. You know everything. You're mom.
Mhm.
And it's just like, okay, well, that resentment builds up over time. I thought
Yeah.
this was a partnership. That's why we joined together.
Right.
And then we had kids. And so then we moved cross country from Atlanta to Fort Collins and, finally feeling myself. I was like making new friends. And then I was like,
Yep.
oh, maybe
Yep.
we should try for a second. I don't want them too far apart. And it was like first try,
Bang.
like bang.
Bang, bang, boom.
Yeah,
It's
I
when you're
know.
feeling good, that's when it happens. You're
Bought
like,
new
damn
jeans.
it.
I was like, I'm gonna learn to snowboard.
Uh-huh.
I remember literally the day before I found out I was pregnant. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I like broke down and I was like, and I'm
And I'm
pregnant.
pregnant. So
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So that escalated things a lot quickly too. Of just like I was the only one working. I was pregnant.
Mhm.
Felt like life was happening so fast. You couldn't catch a break.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know what married life is without kids.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I get that. I get that.
But you?
Omar and I, technically, like, this is my second marriage. So,
Yeah.
like, the first one around, I didn't have kids with him. Thank God. 'Cause he would have been an awful dad. But this one, like when we first met, we both had the same goals as far as like wanting to have children
Mhm.
and wanting to be involved, like really, really involved. Like he was like, I want to be there, like I
Yeah.
want to do this, I want to do that. And that was a big thing for me was that partnership and that turn because I told you we were friends before we
Yeah. You guys had a
even got
solid
together.
foundation.
Yeah, we had a solid foundation. And again, knowing me going into my second marriage, I
Yeah.
was like, this is what I want. And if I don't find that in my partner, then I'm not gonna like,
Right.
jump through it. Because my first one was awful. So Omar was very involved with pregnancy and postpartum and
Mhm.
he was there for the birth, like
Mhm.
everything. He held my leg and saw my son come out and
Mhm.
the whole thing. Cried.
Yeah.
Like, not a crier.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've only literally seen him cry 3 times our entire marriage.
Yeah.
3 times. It was like, one was our wedding day at the mosque, and my dad said really nice things about him.
Mm.
The second was with Cairo, and then the third one was with Rami.
Aw.
So it's the man is very like, hold my emotions.
I thought mine was gonna cry, but he was looking at other people besides me. Telling.
Rude. So yeah, so in that sense, like we did get married and then we had like a year and a half engagement
Mhm.
like throughout it. So but we were together for like almost 3 years before we like
Yeah.
officially tied the knot. So we knew what it was like living together, what the
Mhm.
relationships were like, blah blah blah. And then when we got married, we were like exhausted from our wedding. And we were like, can we just like take a year like for ourselves
Mhm.
and like actually like be together and just relax a little bit more, maybe travel more. But then of course COVID hit. And I was like, oh, there's no
Baby making
traveling.
time.
There's no traveling happening. And so the year went by and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I got to start because I had fertility issues
Yeah.
or whatever. And then as soon as we get on this medication, like 3 months into it, we're
Mhm.
pregnant. And I was like, here it goes. Like it's
No turning back
happening.
now.
Exciting, but it's happening. And
Yeah.
then and same thing, we're just thrown into it because during COVID you can't have like a lot of support people coming in and traveling and stuff like that. So it did take a toll on us a little bit,
Mhm.
like especially like when I was just stay at home. I had to quit my job because it didn't make sense with the cost of daycare.
Yeah.
It took a toll on us because he was working so much, and then I was at home completely with the baby, like
Yeah.
alone. I didn't have hardly any support, and that took a toll on us because it was like, we're
Yeah. Isolation. Yeah.
isolation. We barely had any sleep, so we're just on edge, like at all times.
Uh-huh.
And then trying to just like keep up with the house, keep up with the baby, keep up with life, keep up with just showering. Like it
Yeah.
was like that was a big
Surviving.
survival mode. So there were things like that, and then going through postpartum, like a year and a half. Like I was still like, it was probably like a year. I had like really bad postpartum. So he was just like
Mhm.
crying for no reason and not doing anything. And that took a toll too, because he was like, "You're the stay-at-home mom. I need help because like
Yeah.
I'm working." And it's just like a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff, like, it took a toll, but like I also feel like going through these things and knowing that we made it out, that we're stronger for it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Because like, if I hadn't had him, I don't know if I would have made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of thing, in certain situations, because it's like we only have each other, and in this state, we didn't
Mhm.
have our family, and I didn't know you, and we had Kai,
Yeah.
so it's like it's it was hard, and we made it, thank God. And
Yeah.
now we're a little bit more veteran parents now that we have the second one around,
Yeah.
so we're we know how to shower daily and eat food and like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But like, it definitely did take some toll. It was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so rough with kids, and people don't understand that hardship with it unless
Yeah.
they actually have kids.
No, you gotta like winter the storm together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not gonna make it because I mean, for me, it was like at certain times we had two kids or one kid. I was pregnant. I was the sole provider, the only
Yeah.
provider.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, I was breadwinner too, as well as having kids at home. Like Campbell was old enough to go to school, but with him, I didn't get maternity leave, so I
Hmm.
was working with a baby on my hip, and same with Rhea. Campbell went to school. I had Rhea working alongside with me
Yeah.
until she was old enough to kind of go to daycare a couple days a week. I mean, she's still home with me twice a week.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, that's all really how I know, like how to function as, during my marriage. It was, I was kind of like the single married woman doing a
Hmm.
lot of the stuff. The yes partner was there to physically be there
Yeah.
to do that sort of stuff, like the mental load,
Yeah.
the physical and emotional load is a lot, especially when you're trying to do your career at the same time by
Absolutely.
doing pick up,
Absolutely.
drop off, and all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, if you guys aren't on the same page or have each other's back in that sort of
Right.
way and really understand where the other person's coming from, it makes it very hard because especially at this age, kids
Yeah.
take so
So
much
much.
fucking physical energy out of you
Yes.
that it's
Absolutely.
like, they're always like, "Go on date nights," and this sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's great, but if you sit there like a bump on a log
Yeah.
because we're too tired to enjoy date night, that's not working. It's more of
Exactly.
just like you could be at home with your partner and just have those intimate moments of like checking
Absolutely.
in,
Or
sitting down
watching
like,
a movie
"We
together
haven't
on the couch.
talked
Yeah. Like, how are
about
you
something
doing?
other than our kids in a while, like,
Yeah.
how you doing?"
How are
Yeah.
you? No, really. How are you?
How are you? Like, tell me, like, be that emotional support. Like, I feel like
Absolutely.
that's okay. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to be like, you need to go out and date nights, which is important to get out of the house.
Right.
But like in the beginning stages of kids, you don't have
You
that.
don't have that, and it's hard because,
Yeah.
like, you're exhausted. By the
Yeah.
time, like, getting up at like, physically getting up and dressed and, like, makeup on, hair, the whole bag to go to date night, I was like, "Ugh." Like,
I mean, your day is done
yeah.
by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do after 8
8
o'clock?
o'clock.
Because you go to bed at 9:30 to
Yeah.
get up at 6:30.
Exactly. So it's just like, "No, I don't want to. I don't
Yeah.
wanna do this." But at the same time, it's like, I get it, trying to keep the spice alive in your
Yeah.
relationship. Now that we kinda, like, I feel like everybody kinda goes through to, like, the newborn stage, and then, like, after so many months, like, it's
Hmm.
like, "Okay, now we've got some kinda system
Yeah.
down. Now we can kind of venture out a little bit more and date and,
Yeah.
do these things." So, and then that's what we're trying to do now too, is trying to
Hmm.
have at least one date a night a month,
Yeah.
and then do, um, what's called Mom Day and Dad Day, where you have
Not just a couple hours when
not
mom
just
gets
a
to do
co
her errands.
yeah, yeah,
It's
not
a
when you
whole
get to do your
day.
errands or clean the house, like, no.
Yeah.
Like, a whole day to yourself to mentally reset. Like,
Such life changing.
if
You only need a day at this
exactly.
point.
I was
Yeah.
like, "If honey, if you wanna go play golf, 18 holes, that's gonna take 6 plus hours,
Go for it.
go. That's your entire day."
Yeah.
Same with me. If I wanna go get my nails done, my hair done, or go to a movie, go on a hike, do something,
Yeah.
and that takes however many hours, go. That is your day. And
Yeah.
so we're setting it this way so that we can physically, mentally, and emotionally reset for each other,
Yeah.
and then also for our kids.
Well, yeah, it's also like what I was talking about earlier. It's like how much we're expected to be on for our kids, but
Yeah.
like you can't. can't pour from an empty cup. And like
Correct.
I always hated that for so long because it's like, well, how am I supposed to recharge myself, blah, 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 when I don't literally have the space or capacity? The
Right.
2 hours after they go down, I'm disassociating on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah. You're like resetting from
So
trauma.
just lay there for a minute, like, I don't know what just fucking happened. I have to do that again the next day. And then you're like, oh, well, I have energy at 8:30. What the hell am I going to do? And
Yeah.
now that like I have 50-50 custody, whereas, I'm on, 5 days at a time and then I'll have a couple days off or
Yep.
whatever. It's been so weird because it's like like you said, a day without kids
Yes.
feels so long.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, well, what do I
Do.
do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't need more than a day now to like recoup. Yes, it's nice, but it's
Yeah.
also just like, okay, I don't need that much time, but like you need the uninterrupted,
Yes.
unexpectational, I don't know if that's the right word, but time where it's like I think so many moms are like, "Oh, I got out of the house today." I'm like, "Yeah, but what did you do?
Do.
You returned something. You did all these chores
Right.
to
But you didn't do
rush
anything
back."
for
Yeah,
yourself.
to rush
Yeah.
back. And it's like, they're always like, "Moms need self-care and blah blah blah." It's like a face mask isn't fucking self-care. You could do
Right.
that. Like you
Yeah.
need to remove yourself from any sort of thought patterns, environmental things, and just get the fuck out or get people out of your house if you
Yeah.
like your space. Because
Exactly.
you may not have to leave the house, but like your environment needs to just like shut off for a minute to like
Yes.
have your nervous system just be like, oh,
Oh. Yeah.
like I don't care if you watch 10 movies in one day.
Yeah.
If your next day you're like, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
That's what
self-care.
matters. That's
Yeah.
what matters. Absolutely. I know that's like me. It's like there's certain days where I'm like, I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, nope, not today.
No, I know. I was like, I finally returned something and then sent a box off in the mail that's literally been packed up for like 2 months. I'm like, oh, I feel so accomplished.
I've got it. It's
Took
been
me
in the
10
back of my
minutes
car
to
for
do.
10 hours. I know. That's me. I have a whole bunch of clothes that I need to drop
I
off. They're
know.
just sitting in my garage. Like,
That's part of the quest. It's part of their journey. They
like
need to sit there for a
they're gonna
while.
sit there, and then they'll go in my trunk, and then they'll be stuck for like
Yep.
a week.
A week. Woo.
At
That's
the
like
month.
months. Just push that aside. We'll put the other shit
It'll
in
be
the
fine. It's
back.
on top. And the worst part is I have a van, so now I can put more crap
Way
in
more
the back.
stuff. Just pop the seats up in the back. I got a whole bin.
Literally, so it's like they may be there for quite a while.
Yeah, I finally threw away that mattress box. I was like trying to get it in my car. I was like, I need the fucking van. I
need
can't
the
fit
van.
it.
That's what I tell you, get the van. Just
I know.
break it down.
So
Go
I was
get
like,
the
I
van.
could do this by myself. I could get it in. It's slippery. I can't hold it right.
Damn box. Who created this box?
Just going to the dump. Okay, on the back of that, it's like, how do you deal with the pressure of doing it all?
Oh my gosh, I don't do well with that. I'll be really honest. My whole like childhood was about like perfectionism. So I do not deal well with trying to do it all.
Because all is never ending.
All is never ending. It's never enough. It's never perfect. It's
Yeah.
never going to be that way. And I'm learning that as I get older,
Yeah.
especially because like there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I've said that before, and I'll even tell them where too. I'll be like, I got this and this and this done, but I did not get these things done.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in the day.
No.
And I'm learning to let go of that and try, like and do things. But I know I'm not perfect. Like I'm like, I can only do so much. And now that I'm older and wiser, like my mental capacity, I'm like, your mental capacity can't take anymore today.
Yeah.
Like
No.
you're done.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Just gonna have to go do it tomorrow.
Yep.
It has to do with this. How about you?
Yeah. Perfectionism is a bitch.
Yeah. She's a bitch. I don't like you.
She's not perfect either.
You can't sit with us.
I know. No, go away. Yeah, no, same thing. Like I grew up with a mom that was always doing something, so that's like ingrained in me.
Mhm.
And yeah, like having to work and then be on for the kids too. It's like you're not going to perform 100% in either one of those like
Mhm.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really hard because then you sit there and beat yourself up. Like I didn't show up good today as a mom.
Yep.
I didn't show up good yesterday at my job. Like I'm failing at both.
Yeah.
Can't do it. But like you said, it's like trying to rewire that thought pattern and understand like, hey, did I do the best that I could? Are my kids alive? Do they notice a difference? Are they, no.
Right.
They're happy.
They're happy.
Did
That's
they
all
get
that
a little
matters.
extra screen time today?
Sure.
You're
Yep.
not feeding them junk food all day and like not listening to their needs. Like
Yeah.
all their needs were met. And I think it goes back to a lot too of like comparing this stuff on Instagram with these moms that are like doing all these picture perfect shit,
Oh,
or
I
like
know.
the stay-at-home moms that have millions of dollars that they can go and do
Oh,
all
I
this
know.
fancy
And
stuff
like
and all this extra shit.
DIY and like pretty like displays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have
Or people,
$300 to spend on decor for
or
this
yeah.
holiday and make it look
And it's like you
festive.
don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe they have a nanny. Maybe they have someone there
Yeah.
to help them, and so it's that comparison game's the worst. And it's like the stupid algorithms like, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, you should do this. And it's like,
Yes. I can't do
I
it. I
I
can't.
don't know. Change my algorithms to cats. I don't want to
Help
watch
me. I
this.
don't want this anymore.
I don't want this advice. I'm doing it right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, be gentle on yourself. It's so much easier said than done. Trust
Right.
me, I get it.
Absolutely.
Very, very hard
Absolutely.
because no one talks worse to you than
Than
yourself.
yourself. Absolutely. You are your worst critic. It
Yeah.
always is true.
That happened to me like last weekend when you were gonna come with me to the lake, and thank God you didn't, because it was fucking cold, and I knew it
We were all
going up
so
there, and I was
sick.
like, "But I'm determined
So
to go there.
sick.
We like it." We were the only people there. Like, that should have been my dead sign. Like,
It's
get the
like
picnic
gold.
blanket out, and I'm like, clouds are rolling in. I'm like bundled up in the jackets and like fucking freezing. The kids are having fun,
Yeah.
but then I'm starting to get cranky because I'm like,
Cold
I'm
and rainy.
cold. I feel it coming. I've made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Now I'm
Mhm.
gonna look stupid. Now I'm gonna have to justify it to everybody else. I'm like, which I don't. And so I was like, pack the kids up, and they were upset and bummed. I could see it on their faces. I'm like, sorry
Yeah.
guys, like it's not gonna be a fun day. And so I was like beating myself up on the drive home, which is like an
Yeah.
hour. And I was like, oh, I drove only an hour and to be there for 30 minutes and then
And
have to get
leave.
back in the
Yeah.
car. And like I was just mentally battling with that in my mind the whole
Yeah.
time. And they fell asleep, and they're like, I just want to go home. And I'm like, kind of like, this was our day to go outside,
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? They're asleep. I just like pulled into like Horsetooth um, area with
Yeah.
picnic tables. I was like, I packed our lunches.
Let's have lunch.
Let's have
Yeah.
lunch. And they're like, what are we doing here? I'm like, we're having a picnic. Okay.
Okay. This is how it's going. Yeah.
And so then we were there for like an hour or so, and they
Yeah.
were throwing rocks. They were playing. We went on a hike, and it like turned the day around.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like that was such a mental exercise to not be
Yes.
like, you failed as a mom
Right.
because you can't control the weather.
Exactly. It is so true. Like, I mean, you plan all these things. That's like another reason why,
Yeah.
like, for example, Cairo's birthday, it's either really, really hot or it's raining.
Oh yeah.
It never ends. So it's either like it's gonna be really freaking cold on his birthday,
Yeah.
or it's really, really hot.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It's April 28th, so it's close to April 25th, and all you need is a light jacket. My picture of a perfect day. So it's always around that time. So I'm like trying so hard to like, okay, what am I gonna plan to like
Yeah.
do for his birthday? Because like if we can't do it outside, because if it rains, then we have to go back inside. Or what
Birthday
if
parties.
but I want to do a bounce house, and I want to. So I'm always like, Katie, just deter from doing things outside.
Yeah.
On his birthday. God forbid then the weather changes, so nobody gets upset that we have to like cancel the whole thing
Yeah.
and do this and that. And it's gonna be fine. It's
Yeah.
his birthday. He's gonna have fun. He's
No
gonna have
matter what.
friends. Yeah, we're gonna be fine.
That's another thing. Birthday parties. Dear Lord.
Oh my God, I know.
Like I get it, like cute theme stuff. I did that for my kids' first birthdays, and after that I was like, that was a lot.
It's a lot.
And I think I did it for Campbell's first when we moved here, when we actually had friends. But I'm like, okay, that's so much. And like the kids don't care if it's themed. Like
Yeah.
throw in a dinosaur. He's like, yeah, that's fucking
It's
awesome.
a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
They're like, just run around with your friends and like just yeah. It's
Have
a
fun.
lot with birthday parties.
It is
Like
a
the money
lot.
that you spend and the chaos of the day. It's
Yeah. That's one thing I
chill.
wish like people would expect not to spend so much money on. Like when we go to other people's parties, and like I know like going to Urban Air and things like that, like it's $500 to do a birthday party
Jeez.
at Urban Air.
Yeah.
It's $500 to do a birthday party at the little gym where Kyrie used to do
Yeah.
gymnastics. It was last year when we did Little Monster, it was $250 just for the little room.
That's crazy. And
I
you
was
had to bring your own stuff
you had to
in.
bring your own stuff and bring your own decorations and bring your own cake. And I'm like,
Yeah.
$250 is still a lot.
Yeah.
Like for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I was still like cleaning it up and like doing everything.
Yeah. I'm like,
So I'm like,
my kids got summer birthdays, so I'm like, park. Cool.
Yeah.
invite your friends. So that's
Yeah.
what they want to do anyways, like eat cupcakes and play with their friends.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's all they want to do. But I feel like sometimes there's this expectation that like kids should have this like really cool birthday at some, some
Yeah.
place.
What
And
theme
it's
are you
like,
gonna do this year? And it's like,
yeah. And
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
I don't know. But also too, don't want to spend $1 billion on a birthday party.
Yeah.
Like, especially when they're not going to remember it more than likely at this age,
Yeah.
maybe later. But, or also too, the theme stuff, because all that is just going to end up in the trash.
Well, it's like Campbell right now. His birthday's in a little over a month, and he's like, "I want a dinosaur Pokemon Transformer party in the mountains." I'm like, "Okay,
Okay.
let me get right on that one." Like,
You just transform 4 different things that you
yeah, I
Fine.
don't know what we're gonna do, and I keep asking to see if it would change, and it's just the same thing of like Transformer Pokemon dinosaurs. I was like, "Okay,"
Okay.
and his friends. I'm like, "All right, we'll see what we can
We'll see
do
what we can
about
do.
that."
So you get a Transformer plate, Pokemon cups, and dinosaur
I know,
papers.
like he'll be happy no matter what.
I
Ugh.
love that. I love how it's very creative. He was like, I'm gonna morph it all into
He's
one.
been talking about his birthday since before Christmas, and his birthday's in May. He's like, "It's taking forever. It's taking so long." I'm like, I was like pulling up the calendar. I was like, "This is how many weeks you have. How are you gonna feel after your birthday is gone? What's next?" And then it's Halloween, and then it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Once they start understanding the time,
Yeah.
holidays,
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'll be really excited about that because, like, kind of like when we told him we were like going to Texas or like going to go to the ocean, like for
yeah,
our vacation, he's like, I want to go to the ocean and see Aunt Kelsey and go on a boat. Let's go. Like he
yeah.
was like ready. I was like, no, no, no. That's like months away. He's like,
That's why you
"How
tell
long?"
them like 2 days before,
Yeah.
because they
Don't
keep
tell them.
asking about it.
Don't tell him until it gets a lot closer. A
Yeah,
lot
no.
closer.
When are we going? When are we going?
We're gonna go on a plane. I know, guy, like on like through a fish road, like when we were about to like the day he had to go to school before we were gonna get on the plane later that night. And he was
Yeah.
like, I thought we were gonna go on a plane. I was like, we are later today.
I know. And then
I
you're
want to
like,
get you for
disappointing you. But they put planes out there. Yeah, Campbell's new stuff, his phrases now. I used to respond to it, but now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it out. This is taking so long. I've changed my mind. Or yeah, the one that gets me the most is taking forever. It's taking too long, and I just like don't respond anymore because I'm like, okay, that's just your phrase of the time being. I understand that. Got it.
Okay, one question for you. What is the best way that you ask for and accept help?
I feel like that was a
I
sneaky
do like this
question.
one. I do like this one. Next. Complete.
That is a hard question for me because I don't like asking for help. Um,
Most Scorpios don't.
I know. Because I don't want to be disappointed, and a lot of times it's like I want people to read my needs without expressing
Yeah, I feel
them.
that. I feel that.
But I mean, I'm getting better about it now as being more like not asking for help as much as I am directing.
Uh-huh.
You know, like when my mom's in town, it's like, okay, these are the things you can help me with instead
Right.
of being like, I don't know. I'm like, hey, entertain the kids. Hey, can you do this project? Hey, can
Yeah.
you write a grocery list out? Like things to take off my mental list is more helpful for me, and like kind of shedding that like, oh, I don't need any help. It's like, okay, if someone's, and you kind of have to gauge like if someone's really authentic about helping
Right.
you. Like there's been some people in my life like, oh, let me know if you need anything, and I've reached out,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, well, I'm busy. I'm like, well, what the fuck did you
Yeah,
ask?
that's it. Yeah, say you're gonna help me.
Yeah.
Rude.
So like being really discerning
Yeah.
on that sort of stuff, or it's still hard because it
Yeah.
goes back to like how do you manage it all? Because you're like, I should be able to do this. I mean, especially now for me, it's like when I'm the only authority in the house, I'm the only parent in the house. I don't have somebody else to help me do these
Right.
things.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I literally have to do them myself, or I have to ask people to help me.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was getting the splinter out of Rhea's foot, it was just me.
Yeah.
You know, you were out on date night, I ended up calling their dad. He didn't answer. So I'm like, well, shit. I
Yeah, I
have
have
to
to
do
get
this
this out.
myself.
Yeah.
Like I have to do these things. And afterwards you're like, hey, we did this. We got it done, But yeah, having people in your corner that will show up for you, it's a big thing. And it's hard to get there because you kind of have to go through people in in the nicest way possible. Like you have to go through people to see who's really going to be there for you.
Absolutely.
So But
Yeah,
you,
I
I
get
feel like
that.
you're a lot more direct with
I'm
asking.
I'm direct with asking, but it depends on the person.
Yeah.
So like say for example, like when I first had Kai,
Mhm.
my sister was not comfortable with a newborn
Mhm.
baby just because she's never really
Yeah.
like dealt with one and like was scared to like drop him and all because it was just I was like I
Valid.
kept joking with her. I was like, Katie, God literally makes them just fat and cartilage so that you can't break them. And she's like, but that's what freaks me out. They don't hold structure. Just blah. So like with her, she was more happy to like help me with like doing dishes or
Yeah.
laundry or cleaning, something like that that I
Yeah.
need help with. And I was like, that's fine. I totally get it. I understand. And at that time, I wasn't really as OCD. Like I'm kind of OCD with how I like my house clean, but
Yeah.
that time I was so like in post where I was like, I don't
Well,
care
that's
as
like the
long as
help you
it's
need
done.
when you're
Yeah,
first. Like, I want to hold my baby. I don't want anybody else to
yeah,
hold my baby. You do what you should.
exactly. But at the same time, it was like I need a shower.
Yeah. Just for a second.
So then I would
please.
give it to Omar, or
Yeah.
like baby would be napping, I'd be like, just watch him, so then he
Yeah.
like something coming
Can't
down.
roll. He can't move.
Yeah. But even so, she'd be like, "What if he coughs up something?" I'm like, "Oh, God." Then give me another fear.
Yeah.
But then my mom was the opposite. She
Mm.
like wanted to hold that baby,
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool because then like I can actually shower and
Yeah.
like pump and
Do stuff.
get some food in me,
Yeah.
like things that you don't want to hold the baby with.
Mhm.
And she was totally fine just to be like,
Yeah, I feel like you either have you have both. Like you have the baby holder and you have the baby doer.
yeah,
You
yeah,
need both of those, and it's usually opposite sides of the family in most situations. Like my mom wants to hold a baby, but she understands, so
right,
she does more around the house. And as their dad's mom, it's more of a I'll sit and hold the baby
yeah.
because I have to redo what she does anyways. So
Right.
you
I
know,
totally get that. But
take
even
it
though
as
like
it
my mom
comes.
was helpful too, even with those things. So, like
Yeah,
she would like do the dishes or cook dinner or something,
yeah.
just in general, because like if I'm breastfeeding or
Be a mom.
yeah,
Yeah,
be mom. So she was great with that portion of having a baby and obviously totally understands it after having three. So it's like
yeah,
and she same thing, didn't have as much help either,
yeah.
with the three of us. So and she ended up going back to work really quickly,
Mhm.
with all of us. So she's like, you need that help. When you can get it, you can get it. So and I'm even now like my husband and I will go through spats where we're like, you know, trying to make sure that we check in with each other and like
Yeah,
voice what we need and try not to say no to each other.
yeah.
It's like,
That's
hey,
super
like I
important.
need a shower. I need a nap. I need that. And it's like, okay, got it.
It's
Like
even like
you're
I
heard.
need 30 minutes with no interruption of
Yes.
time. I need to decompress of this stimulation. Like you should have a partner or somebody that understands that and say, hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like it's a give and take sort of thing of like, it's totally normal and human to be like, hey, I can't be on 24/7 handed over to you.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be such like a teeth pulling thing like, oh, well, I've done this and this and this. What have you done?
Right.
That sort of
Right.
stuff. It's like communicating, I feel like a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, absolutely. They struggle with that for sure. Because I have I know a few other moms that like have issues with their partners and being like, I feel like I'm doing everything, I'm not getting any help. Like, are
Mhm.
you voicing that
Yeah.
you need help or just not saying anything and doing it all?
Yeah. Because that was definitely my problem, not communicating it. Like I said, making in my mind that people should
Right.
assume, and that's like the setting the expectations. My math teacher always said it, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
It's true
Clever.
though. He's so right.
But it's also at the same time, like, then you ask for your needs and like you finally get the courage to ask for your needs, and if they're not met,
Yeah, it's
that
hard.
makes you recoil right
Absolutely.
back and be like, that proved me right that I can't get help.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And it's true though. And I totally get that.
Yeah.
We've had some spurts of that and then, trying to recollect on that as well. Cause
Yeah.
you're like, but I need these things because I physically can't go any further.
Yeah.
I like cannot stand the smell of myself. Cannot like need to eat, do something.
Well, yeah, it's also like understanding what your needs are. I think is a thing
Yeah.
too that like we're not taught either of like, what do I actually need in this moment? Is it
Mhm.
space? Is it a hug? Is it
Yeah.
advice? Is it someone to just sit and listen? It's a lot of like, what do I need at this point? And it's very interesting to try to figure that out because you're like,
Right.
I don't know
I
what
don't
I
know what
want in
I
this
need.
moment.
I don't know what I
Like,
want. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. How do you keep the intimacy alive with
Mm,
children?
intimacy question.
Hmm.
You
That's
can
a-
go with that one. By myself, I keep it very intimate.
Intimacy with children is hard. It's hard because like you're postpartum and you don't want to do anything.
Well, you're also just been touched
Yeah,
24/7.
all the time, touched out, and then like you don't feel like you're in your body for quite
Mhm.
some time. Like your boobs are not yours.
Yeah, well, you also get really self-conscious because you're like,
Yeah,
my body doesn't look the same way as
same.
before it. And
Yeah,
most men, if they
don't
love you,
care.
don't care.
Yeah, most men don't care as long as they get the go to at what 8 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks to have
Ugh.
sex. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, whatever that is
whatever
for
that
me.
is. But it's hard, and it was more hard just because like trying to find time without your child like being there or
Yeah.
like waking up or something in that
Whereas you're like
nature.
right in the middle and you're here, Mom, you're like, this is awkward. We're
This
not
is
gonna
awkward.
reconvene, so
Yeah,
let's
we're not. This
bye-bye, we're
has just killed the mood right now, so I'm
good.
gonna go.
Do we ignore that?
Yeah.
Do we feel weird about that?
So yeah, keeping the intimacy alive, but even not just sexually, but like just intimacy, like
Yeah.
trying to check in with each other, physical touch, like
Or just a fucking hug at the end of the
hug,
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
or a compliment or something, like
Yeah.
that to me that gives me more of a connection than just like, you know,
Yeah.
most men are like just want to wham bam thank you ma'am and it's
Yeah.
over. Um like
And it's never the appropriate time when the middle of dishes are doing and you come
yes.
up and you want to get freaky. It's like,
Uh-huh.
no, I'm in the middle of something right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm not 16 anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
my brain is here
Here and I
and
need
you're
this
way over
on.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You're like, I need again intimacy as far as like partnership. Like
Yeah.
I know acknowledging you still love me, that
Yeah.
we're okay, that I'm still physically attractive to you, things like that. Like
Well, yeah, it's also like I don't know what your love languages are, but just like other things that create intimacy that like, hey, I brought you something home,
yeah,
or I did this because I know it meant a lot to you, or like, hey,
yes,
I folded the laundry. It takes something off your
absolutely,
list. So you can have that capacity to eventually lead to the physical intimacy if that's what you want.
absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel like if you don't check in with each other like that, then the intimacy can die
Yeah.
very quickly in a marriage with kids because you're constantly just focusing on them all the
Mhm.
time and then you forget to check in with each other or you forget to even just be emotionally intimate with your partner and then you
Yeah.
realize you're like why are we together and why are we
Yeah. What's the
why are
point?
we falling apart? What's the point? No,
Yeah.
it's just about the kids.
Yeah, because I feel like we're told to focus so much on the kids, and
Yeah,
it's like your kids need to see the example of
absolutely.
their parents in love. That's
Yeah.
how they build their trust. That's how they build their foundation of their future love. Like you need to
Yeah.
set that example. You need to choose each other first. In
Yeah.
order to choose each other first, you are choosing your kids first because you are putting your well-being so you can show up better. It's kind of like one of those weird math problems where it's like, okay, we're doing
Mhm.
this for the kids, but like we we came into this because we loved each other, not
Right.
because of the kids
Cuz
most times. It's
yeah,
like that was a good result of the two of us
but
coming
sitting
together.
together.
So
Yeah.
like you can't it's hard not to lose it's hard to lose sight of that once you're in the mix
Absolutely.
of everything. Um and both partners have to be willing to adjust and understand
Exactly.
each other and grow. And if that's not happening, then those bring up bigger questions
Right.
of other stuff that's going on.
Absolutely. And I think that's something else that changes is that men also have to realize that women mentally and physically change
Mhm.
after having children because things are not the same anymore as
Yeah.
their priorities and what to do. Like they've done plenty of studies saying that your brain literally physically changes after you have
To
a child.
mush.
To mush, to mush, mom brain. But like in general, like because again, your priorities change, your thought process, and
Yeah.
things, the way you handle things. So like you're literally not the same person
Yeah.
or the person you were before you have children.
Yeah.
And if they're not willing to accept that and grow with that and be there for you,
Mhm.
then that relationship will end up fizzing out
Yeah.
because of that.
I mean, I got a lot of I just want my wife back. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking right here.
I'm right here.
I'm a different human being. I'm still myself. I'm just completely navigating this world in a
Right.
totally different I'm like, I'm right here. Like, quit trying to pressure me to be 28 years old again with no
Yeah.
kids and no responsibility and a tight ass. Like, it's
Right.
not like that's not who I
Well,
am
exactly.
anymore.
It's not
Like,
who
and I
you
don't want
are.
to feel ashamed for being who I am now. Like, I'm better
Yes.
than I was before, but like getting that you're never going to be the same person you were before. And I think that's a lot of pressure. I think we talked about it too in the first episode, just not only physically, but like mentally
Mentally.
too.
Yeah.
You are now responsible for human beings that you
Yes.
weren't responsible before.
Yes. It's not
Priorities
just you and him
change.
anymore. It's now
Yeah.
somebody else that takes way more priority. It's like I tell my husband, it's like I love you to death, but
Yeah.
they come first now.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Like the physical touching. I know so many women can understand like how kids naturally gravitate towards mom for
Yes.
touching, and that's how they get their bonding. The oxytocin, it's science, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
proven that's how they bond with you. They touch you through the physical touch. With
Right.
dad, it's the roughhousing, it's the
Yes.
play. That's how they
Yes.
bond with each other. It's like, yeah, that's great, but don't fucking touch me with one more finger. Like I like, oh my god, and then your husband comes up and like does this light touch, and I'm like, I'm about to hit
I'm about
you.
to punch you.
Like I kept telling him like, and something for like future partners for me, like I need a hard ass touch. Not like
Yeah.
you're
Not
gonna
like
throw me across the room, but like come up and
not
give
like
me
this.
like, yeah, twinkle fingers,
Ugh.
I'm like, light kisses, no. Like if you're gonna do it, like do it with intention, because my
Yeah.
nervous and sensory system
Is already
needs
touched out.
that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
need these light, sweet touches. It needs something grounding. It needs something
Yes.
depth to it. Like
Yes.
then I'll be okay, maybe to like settle down and do the fun stuff. But it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
you're
I
gonna give
feel
me a
that.
hug. You give me the biggest bear hug you've
Yeah.
ever had,
Yeah.
and then my body can
Not
just
like
go, yeah,
no. Like get in there and squeeze. Okay.
be like a compression suit on
Decompress
me.
the suit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like kids need that too at the end of the day to
Yeah.
regulate their nervous system, and
Yeah.
so do moms.
Literally, I do it to Kai all the time. I'm like, you looking like you're a little stressed. You want a hug?
Yeah,
You want to squeeze? I'm like, come here.
yeah,
Ugh. Squeeze as hard
yeah,
as
and
you
you
can.
can just see them after a while, just go,
Yeah.
and then they're
And
good.
bodies relax. That's all
Yeah,
it means. It's like, I need one too.
yeah.
I
How do
need
I
one of those.
create one of those?
Start making the squeeze machine they do for the cows and just give me a hug.
Just going into the squeeze tank.
Going to the squeeze tank, leave me alone.
Get me out of here! Suffocating.
Oh my god. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Please again, don't forget to subscribe and follow, comment for any episodes that you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't think we've decided on our next episode
No,
yet.
I kind of enjoying this
Free for
flowing.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just kind of picking it out of
Where the
whim.
wind takes us. You never know week to week what happens.
Exactly. All right, guys. So check us out on Spotify and
Yes.
YouTube, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.